But well. Having some weird technical issues. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday, and here we are. We are back in the parking lot. Eye report came out pretty good. I can't complain. I'm gonna have to have my left, thing. My left lens is adjusted just a wee bit, but that was kind of expected. It's left eye is starting to catch up to the right eye a little bit, but I can hear this now, this conversation between two eyeballs. You're not going blind without me. Just wait, I'm catching up. All right. Just saw some interesting photos of Macaulay Culkin. Hoping they were from the set of the Fallout series, but like I said, I have to go check, see if that just wasn't something taken from another thing he's been in. Doctor Who. What do we got to say about Doctor Who? Well, we still don't have an air date, and we're in January. I was kind of hoping to hear March by now or something like that, because I think they're going to try to get this thing out, sooner than advertised originally, just so they can, get the decision from Disney Plus. Now, a lot of people are going, it's because Doctor Who's first season of the new show sucks so bad. It's like, no, that's not what happened. This happens a lot with streaming services. What happens is you get a series. They'll sometimes give you like 2 series to start. Like with the Fallout series on Prime, it was a weird, because we knew they were getting a first season, because basically the agreement was, hand us some scripts, but we're going to pay you like to do a first season, if it get past that stage, an entire season or something like that. And so the funding was already there. So you knew you were going to get an entire first season either way. Thin or flush, it was going to happen. And what happens is with streaming series is, just like, how long have you been waiting for the last season of Stranger Things now? How long are you waiting between series on a lot of your, favorite shows now? Because that's how it works. And that's why I die laughing when they go, I prefer quality over quantity. And that's why, because you're only getting so many episodes. And I go, yeah, and those episodes are going to have to tide you over sometimes for 2-3 years. Something about pickles. I don't know, dude. Why don't you do the pickle walk? A little something from Clerks 2. Look it up. You see, that's the problem, though. If all your episodes are mediocre, then it's like, where is that really worth only 8 episodes or whatever you get? Well, somebody had in the comment box there. I'm like, I love how they're always popping up here. Hi, guys. Come on in. And now you're waiting, longer and longer between series to get a show going. And it's ridiculous. Even the head of Sony, like I said, I read this article to you a long time ago, a few months back, is getting tired of the way they handle streaming series. And you have to remember, landscape over at Disney is not so, nice and even right now. They just wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on the budget for the Assolite. And like I said, I really shouldn't say anything because I did not watch that. Sorry, I just did not. The second I saw the trailer, and I'm like, okay, look, there's Carrie-Anne Moss. There's no way Carrie-Anne Moss is doing an entire series. Sure enough, I find out later she's killed in the first episode. Also, the light whip, no. It may work in the comic books, it can work in novels, but no. On screen, it just like silly. It's like, hello, I got my new friend here. It's the light noodle. Oh. Yeah, I've heard about the wildfires in California. And like I said, I feel bad for those folks who are out there. A lot of people go, how come you don't go to different climes and all that? I go, let me see. You can go to Florida, and we all know where it comes out of Florida between fentanyl, meth, and then you got hurricanes, tornadoes. And it's not that Florida's a bad place or the people in it. I'm just saying everywhere has its drawbacks. Or you can go all the way out to California where you have mudslides, earthquakes, and of course, sadly, wildfires. So Mark Hamill evacuated. Well, I feel bad for them guys out there. I really do. Then, of course, you have the southern states where, yeah, it's warmer, but once again, you have floods, tornadoes. I know because I had family members who lived down there. From way up my mom and dad's relatives all lived down there, and it's like it's a mess down there too. In Ohio, it's not too bad. Texas, it's flat, it's hot, it's got scorpions, black widow spiders. All right, but back to Doctor Who and the streaming thing. Speaking of get bit in the ass, that's the problem. Disney wasted literally, I think they went according to one estimate I saw, it was like $300 million over budget. They put like $300 million or more into the Assolite, and it didn't go well. And just judging from the clips I've seen of this show that have popped up on YouTube, I'm like, what was this crap? Yeah, I've been down south. Well, I was many years ago, many times. Like I said, it's just, we used to go down there during the summer. Oh, man. It was always like 100 and something degrees back then. That's why I die laughing when they go on about global warming. I'm like, dude, if everywhere was like Mississippi or, Alabama or Georgia or whatever in the summer, then okay, I'd be worried. But sure, it's not like the old days when we, had how many feet of snow versus how many inches, but, what can you do? Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Acolyte was bad. I heard Starship Dysentery is finally getting canceled or something like that. It was drifting over the wire. And it's like, folks, in Paramount's case, I don't know, did they ever release any viewing numbers for that show? Because you see, they couldn't admit defeat. How many people got fired just in the first couple of series of that show, as far as showrunners, execs, and all that, if I remember right. And they kept it on because they literally couldn't afford just to drop it. And now you've got Section 31 coming out, and I'm like, oh, great, here we go. Congratulations, it's Federation Men in Black. I just still can't believe the fact that, yeah, speaking of the Federation, that every single member planet of the Federation agreed, we're not going to build cloaking devices for our ships. All right, but okay, that's one article I also that's being removed from canon, and I'm like, because they dug this hole. You know, I've only heard not even a tenth about what this show is doing, and people have the nerve to complain about Doctor Who canon. But what can you do? But like I said, Doctor Who, the streaming thing, like I said, hopefully we're going to get an answer soon. You know, hopefully we're going to get a second series soon. And then we'll have our answers, and then it'll all be done and over. Trust me, for years I've been contemplating, you know, what would I do on this channel if Doctor Who does finally go the way of the dodo and, you know, goes back into, you know, its long sleep of hibernation like it did back in the day. That's why I die laughing at all these people. We should give the show a rest. It needs a hiatus. And I'm like, how long do you think that's going to be? You honestly think they're just going to get rid of it for, like, you know, we're done with it. You know, we've sank, you know, millions of dollars into this. All right, for some crazy reason, you know, it's one of our largest money makers and attracts international attention. We're going to shut it down. Okay, it's only going to be a few months, a year, 5 years. You know, sorry, none of us live forever. It's like, that was another one of their big flaws with Doctor Who, were those hiatus years. They took years off. It's like, guys, if you take something off the air, people are going to assume it was canceled, and they're not going to come back till it's too late. And even then, they're going to go, I got other things I'm watching now, you know. And that's what happens. Out of sight, out of mind. Poof, you're gone. But oh well, what can I do? You know, I'm just sitting here in Ohio ranting about a show. You know, like I said, I've been watching this show since the way early 80s, around 82, 83. Hell, I know people who've been watching since Hartnell. So but what can you do? You know, you can only hang in there. Like I said, I have a friend of mine who has some disputes with the title of episode 3 of series 2. But like I said, I messaged him the other day and I was like, remember, these were just shooting titles he gave. The shooting titles usually change. So who knows what episode 3 or whatever is going to actually be named. Now, they have hinted that the Robot Revolution or the Red Robots or whatever it's going to be, you know, that one's supposed to be solid. But like I said, we'll sit back, wait and see, because sorry, Mike, I missed that. What's just a TV movie? Oh, I didn't want that menu. That's why I said touch screens and yeah, look at these fingers. Oh yeah, the precision work I can do with these teeny tiny dainty little fingers. Yeah. All I can say is, look, we can just enjoy the dance as long as the music keeps playing, and I don't know. I really haven't thought about it in a while as to what I would do if Doctor Who finally does go off the air. But it's still a big money maker for the BBC. I'm still dying laughing all these armchair amateurs who's saying 4.1 million on Christmas Day is a disaster, it's a flop, and it's a way caught. And I'm like, because they want that self-fulfilling, they want the show to be canceled because these are the same, a lot of these guys are the same imbeciles who were saying the show was dead in 2017 when Jodie Whittaker took over, and the sooner it dies, the sooner they can jump up and down, punch the air, and go, oh, I told you Whittaker was going to kill the show. And then they go, oh yeah, and then they add on to that RTD2 era. And yet RTD was the guy a lot of them were crying for to come back. It amazes the living shit out of me. It really does. We need to return to the golden age of Doctor Who. And it's like, when was that? And like, there's been many golden ages in Doctor Who. Depending on, what time you started viewing it and what time, what you feel was the golden age of Doctor Who. There's a lot of people who look at the Hinchcliffe era. There's a lot of people look, back to the Barry Letts era. Or the Graham Williams segments. But some people even praise the old JNT. Even though I could never figure out why JNT had this fascination with everything having to be color coordinated and stuff. I'm like, how much longer before we go back to the good old days of companions in mini skirts with long, big, huge high heels? Romping and stomping and saving the universe in stilettos. But I just, like I said, a lot of people are going, what's your problem with Star Trek? I said, here's, other than Doctor Who, what they're doing is, though, while a lot of shows do change Doctor Who's history, and it's canon, it's just the purpose of Star Trek was to show there was a possible future for mankind. It wasn't, or to quote Gene Roddenberry, it's not all going to be over with a flash and a bomb. And it just strayed from that somewhere. Completely. Come on, animated comedies. Why? Because that guy over on the other network that you laughed out of your office, remember him, came up with that thing called the Orville? Seth, what was his name? Seth MacFarlane. Oh, well, Seth MacFarlane's also got animated comedy series on the air. Okay, let's do an animated Star Trek. And I know exactly where that came from. I know exactly what they were doing in Lower Decks. They were trying to, jump into, Seth MacFarlane's, they were trying to hop in his lane. And it's also a reminder of another guy who got laughed out of Paramount when he proposed the idea of doing a show on a space station in Star Trek. That guy, J. Michael Straczynski. And they kept this Bible for Babylon 5 for over a year. And then just as Babylon 5 went into production, another show went into production called Deep Space Nine. And when you look at the similarities between Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5, and how people were saying Babylon 5 was a ripoff of Deep Space Nine, and it wasn't until years later that we finally got the reveal that no, Deep Space Nine was a ripoff of Babylon 5. But I'm not going to demean or degrade Deep Space Nine. It was a very good series in its own right. A lot of great episodes there. Well, folks, I've got to run inside. I've been on here longer than I should be. I just noticed the clock. Please take care of yourselves. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. I went on ranting, lost track of the time, so be careful. Enjoy our winter weather. And for you folks out there in California, I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody is fine. I feel bad for the folks who are out there caught in the fire, those wildfires. And I hope everybody, I hope it all gets taken care of soon. Have a good one, everyone.